Konnichiwa, Genki desu ka? Suzuka no. Welcome, round 11 to the Suzuka round of the official iRacing V8 Supercar Championship, brought to you by RaceBot TV in conjunction with iRacing.com. Got the V8 action here tonight. With me in the broadcast as usual, Jake. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Brenton. I can't be elaborate as you are, but we're here at Suzuka for another round 11 of the V8 Championship. It's going to be a hot race tonight, long race as well, 35 laps around here, so it's not a short one, especially with the times being around a 2:04, as Ethan Griggold is in the qualifying session at the moment and has done that time, 2:04.721 to put it on provisional pole. It's been a busy weekend, and it's just going to be another day and another race of close racing.
Yeah, it is, and but the championship up the top, I think Ethan, let's face it, he's going to have I don't know if he can lose from here. The battle was really between Ian Ford and Josh Rogers in second place. Ian taking second place last week at VIR certainly went a long way towards him retaining second place overall with the championship. I don't think young Josh is here tonight from what I've seen. No, he's not. So it was a very, very busy weekend for V8 action, no doubt, and we can talk about that later on. One thing I will say, and I gave this guy a bit of a shout out way before, weeks and weeks ago, was Matt Jones, and it's great to see him up here in the top split, and at the moment has actually put himself in a real good spot there in second place provisional at the moment. Still a lot of cars to come in. Brendan King in the car 17 for ANZ Motorsports. I know he's done a lot of laps this afternoon in practice, and that's reflected with his time at the moment in fourth. But there's a lot of guys here in the top split tonight. 22 cars, I think there is, Jake, and two splits of that. So good to see that the guys are backing up after what was a busy night last night.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone backing up. I think that's relative also to the amount of V8 action. People still want to get their fix of it, and it's good to see two splits pretty full of 22 cars in one and 21 in the second split. But Ethan Griggold, I have to say as well, that time is a full second quicker than anyone else. He's just coming across the line now, not as fast on his second lap, but he is definitely showing what he can do, and to be a second quicker knows what's up. But Matt Jones as well, yeah, it's good to see him up the front. It's new people always brings new blood to the front of the grid. It'll be interesting race to watch. Long way to go for the entire field, and it's just going to mix it up that little bit. As I think some of the cars are finishing now. Most of the cars are finishing now, so we should be starting to see as the qualifying times have finished, so the grid should be forming up soon.
Yeah, it should be, and with qualifying done, to tell you, there's a couple of guys who I would have thought, if they got the chance to get a lap in, would have certainly been on there. Mitchell Searlack to start with. We saw a few weeks ago he didn't get a time in. Dave Moore, and also Ryan O'Sullivan as well. So some good guys further at the back there for sure, and they'll work their way through what is going to be a long race. Pit stop will be needed. So it's going to be a long race, so settle back.
Yeah, as I'll quickly run us through the grid. So Ethan Griggold on pole position for round 11 with Matt Jones on the outside of the front row. Ian Ford and Blake Coppo around row 2. Brendan King, Cooper Murray row 3. Wayne Kendall and Jeremiah Morton row 4. David Baxter and Greg Sharp round out the top 10. Then Jason Bentz in 11th, Simon Tennant in 12th. Daniel Trim in 13th, Mark Fee in 14th. Daniel Ackland 15th. Chad Vigar in 16th. Rounding out the row 8, we've got row 9, we've got Sean Chappell and David A. Moore. Mitchell Searlack without a time, Mario Vlasic, Ross Rizzo and Ryan O'Sullivan rounding out the field.
Yeah, so it is a long race, and Jeremiah Morton just put the chat. So just taking it easy for the first few laps here. Famous practice, and it just might have some issues here. 2 sets.
Yeah, I'll jump in there for Brenton as he's just having some issues at the moment, but we are just about to going not long as the field starts to form up. Long race, as Brenton said, we have a 45-degree track temp as well, so it's definitely really hot out there, so the tyres will be feeling it during the long run, and it's just going to be interesting to see who takes the early strategy play and comes in a bit early than others. But it's definitely one of those things that makes this track interesting as the grid starts to form up and the revs will start to build soon, with Ethan Griggold and Matt Jones on the front row for SDC and Performance Motorsports. And here we go, so the green light should be on soon as the revs build. We are away, good clean start at the moment. A couple of cars starting to move out. Ethan looks like he's having a little mechanical issues off the line, but he's got it going. He's got a good gap as Ford moves to the inside. Nah, not going to get that one done on Matt Jones, so drops in the line. Fairly clean at the moment. We've got Brendan King also. Whoa, we got a car around in the background. It's one of the Angry Birds cars. I'm unsure as to who that was. A couple of cars around as well, so I think we got Sean Chay. There's a bunch of cars sitting at the back of the grid, so unsure as to what's going on there. But Ethan Griggold's definitely just got the nose in front on the start and kept it clean. He's got a bit of a couple of car lengths over Matt Jones. He's actually started to gap Ian Ford behind, so the weekend's definitely making it interesting as Ford is sideways behind him as well. Whoa, who's that? That's Brendan King, full sideways coming into the first Degner, turn 8. Managed to gather is behind them. That's actually Blake Copper running a bit wide behind Cooper Murray. Cooper Murray's actually going to have a little look. This is not the spot to do it. He pulled out of it, and 40 up into seconds having a look at Matt Jones. I think he's got that one done, and he has. So good move forward up into second. He sees Ethan Griggold starting to run away with this. He's got a fair big gap up front. So that new SDC KSW painting livery is sure looking good out front, and he's starting to build that gap, especially in front of 40, who just got that work done. But the field besides the start is pretty clean at the moment, just starting to work their way through the final hairpin, coming over the crossover now on the back straight, and cars are just looking very tidy already. And it's a long race. You don't want to start getting into battles early, but they're definitely 40 already starting to get Matt Jones up into second and starting to make his way up into the back of Ethan Griggold. But that gap's going to be hard to catch. Jones runs a bit wide behind him, and that's not going to help him. He's got a lot of cars. Cooper Murray coming down into the final chicane with Brendan King there side by side. He backed out of the second part of it and drops in behind. Maybe he can get a run down the front straight. He's going to have a look. He's definitely going to have the pace. I think he's going to get it done. He's got the overlap, and there's Blake Coppo behind him, so he's going to be hungry to get that one done. So he will try and make the benefit. If Cooper Murray can hang Brendan King out wide, he can maybe have a dig, but Cooper's up there, but Brendan King's holding it really well on the outside. He's ran a bit wide through the second part of the first corner, and he's just got... So Cooper Murray's got that one done. Brendan King... Blake Copper couldn't get it done past Brendan King there, so he's had to fall in behind them as Jeremiah Morton as well as Wayne Kendall, they're having a battle back here. I think that's also David Baxter behind him. Good to see him up inside the top 10. Haven't seen him for a while up in this early. So it's good to see these guys starting to run very clean and getting their cars into a rhythm. I know different track to what a lot of people were running over the weekend, so just a little bit of variances that they have to play. I don't know how many people have had a lot of practice here, so we'll just have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, well, good call. Hopefully things might start to settle down. Saw a first lap incident with Daniel Trim involved there. Hopefully once that settles down. Phil was just trying something new on his computer for the first time, didn't quite work out. Yeah, Daniel Trim's connection had a mechanical issue, and unfortunately was put in the wall at 200R there. But yeah, as you said up at the front, it looks all pretty good, doesn't it? And I'm not sure it's going to be the highest strength of field race, I'll be honest with you, because there's some big names that aren't racing here tonight. It's a good field, but with the result of second place, I don't think for Ian Ford that will extend any lead he's got over Josh Rogers for second place.
No, I don't think it will. And as I just looking back, Greg Sharp in one of the ALC Commodores for Evolution Racing Australia has a lot of rear end damage. So I don't know how we got that, but there is a lot of rear end damage on that car. And hopefully that's not going to hinder his race too much. But there is a big battle going on between Jeremiah Morton, David Baxter and Wayne Kendall. These guys are going at it, and in front of him, Cooper Murray I think has had an issue and has actually lost that spot that he gained the last back to Brendan King. So he's got Blake Coppo all over the back of him as they come down the front stretch. Hopefully he's going to pull out, he's going to get that draft run, he's going to have a look. Thinks better of it going into turn 1.
Well, it is such a long race, though, and you can certainly lose it early on, can't you? But yeah, a bit of strategy here. I think Blake at the moment certainly looks faster than Cooper. As my internet dies again, it looks like. So, yeah, but Blake certainly looks the faster of the two.
Yeah, he looks definitely the faster of the two. He looked faster than Brendan King early on also, but just couldn't get it done as he's just behind Cooper. He is harassing him right now, coming through the S's, coming around Dunlop, turn 7. But he's also got behind him Jeremiah Morton, and Morton is closing this gap that time. So it's just all starting to bunch up from about 5th on back through to 10th. It's going to be close, and these guys will be fighting hard to get around each other. Long race though, and that's one thing, you don't want to get into a battle too early, and you could hinder your tyres early. As soon as you do that, you'll want to pit early, and then later on in the race you won't have any tyres to defend with, so you want to just sort of hold them out, hopefully just get past them or just run the same pace and see what you can do from then on out.
Yeah, Cooper Murray's starting to have a bit of a train behind him as again they go through 200R, lap 3. Last lap at 207.8, so the rest of the train is certainly making significant gains here. Blake Coppo, yeah, he's going to be keen to get through. He's got Jeremiah Morton, Wayne Kendall, Dave Baxter, and a recovering Ryan O'Sullivan, who's already found himself in the top 10 from what was 22nd on the grid, if you don't mind. So that's a position, a massive upgrade there, 12 positions. So that ALC car going great guns.
Yeah, I think that was from all the incidents that happened at Turn 1. There was a lot of cars everywhere. I don't know how many cars that got a lot of damage from that, but he certainly made the most of it, picked his way through there, and he's just moving up to the back of this pack now. And I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Sharp actually makes his way up to it now. So, but these two up in front of him, Coppo really needs to get it done early now, because I think he doesn't want this train to start having an attack on him, because then he may lose Cooper Murray, and you don't want to do that this early. You want to try and get in front and make it. It is a long race though, so it's a little bit of a... Oh, as he gives him a bump through turn 2. I don't think that was needed, a little bit of a bump. I wouldn't have done that. I think Coppo should give that position up, a little bit of a bump and run. It's not NASCAR, boys, so especially around here at Suzuka, a bit uncalled for.
Yeah, no objection from Cooper though. Certainly hasn't said anything there, and I've heard Cooper talk before if he's not happy with something, so I don't think he's got a problem with it. But the problem he's got now is that Jeremiah Morton will be next on the menu, and Jeremiah's will be really keen to make a move sooner before later.
Yeah, that's it. And as soon as Jeremiah Morton has another crack at Cooper Murray, then Wayne Kendall will want to have a go, and David Baxter, and then it will just spiral out of control. But Ryan O'Sullivan is all over the back of David Baxter as well. He's just moving his way up. He's made that position as he has a look. Oh, I think there was a bit of contact there as well under brakes. He sort of was thinking about the inside move. Baxter put on the defensive line, and there's another bump and run. There's definitely a lot of bump and runs today. It's like it's NASCAR after all the weekend that we've had. So some of the boys just getting a bit antsy. We'll see what happens with all this at the end of it.
Yeah, but it's a position made though, like you said. But Dave Baxter's not going to back off here. I think he's actually just returned the favour just quietly. So as they exit Spoon, it's going to be a drag race between the ALC Commodore and the Redback Racing Falcon. Looks like that Commodore's certainly got it lit up there, and he will hold that position as they enter 130R.
Yeah, Baxter just rolled out of that a little bit there and gave Ryan O'Sullivan's Kendall in front of him is sideways. You're not missing much at the front, just to keep everyone interested. Ethan Grigold is 3 seconds in front of Ian Ford at the line. 3.4 actually, let's just update that. So Ethan is controlling this field as he usually does, but this battle pack down here is it's lighting up right now.
Yeah, well, don't be surprised if Ian Ford just parks it as well. I just had a chat with Fordy obviously before, and he's mightily crooked tonight, unfortunately, and he's actually called a doctor. The doctor's actually going to be coming to his house. So if the doctor shows up whilst he's racing, he's going to be parking that Maverick welding car and calling it a night, you can be sure. So yeah, I'm surprised he raced at all, but he's got himself up in the second place. We've got Brendan King and Matt Jones. Like I said, Matty Jones for this team has done a great job overall, and I'm super stoked that he's finally getting a chance to show what he can do here, and a podium position is on the cards. Brendan King in the Simworks car there. Oh gee, it's almost a shortcut there as they go through Degna 1. Took all of the track and some more, and he did get a shortcut.
Slow down.
Yeah, so Whether he gets back on the power quick enough, no, Blake Coppo is through. So, yeah, well, we saw that. That's a serious looking skin there, the ANZ car. And we've got that chain still going behind Cooper Murray, Jeremiah Morton, Wayne Kendall, Ryan O'Sullivan, Dave Baxter, Greg Sharp, as you said, is up on that group now, and Mitch Searlack also making some serious gains on that group.
Yeah, well, Mitch Searlack came from 19th as well on the grid, so was able to get through all that first corner stuff and keep it up in front of all those guys that were spinning, get some good ground, keep a clean car as he comes onto the back of Greg Sharp at the back of this pack. But it's just a long train. Kendall runs a bit wide there, but he keeps it on the track. Just a long train that Cooper, I don't know whether he's actually holding everyone up. I just think everyone has a bit more pace over him at the moment. He's just not comfortable maybe with the tyre. Says he takes a lot of 130R curb, but as he's sideways on the X's as well, it wouldn't surprise me if he got a slowdown there. It was a massive jump of the inside curve as he's actually backing up to Morton right now.
Yeah, he is, and I'm not sure how he's going to go over the long distance. Like this, like we said, with the track temperature at 45 degrees, setup is going to be so crucial here, isn't it? I know a lot of these teams probably didn't get a chance to practice a lot this week, obviously with the V8 Premier Series on last night. No doubt we'll find time to talk about that, but a lot of the attention with the V8 guys this week as Ryan O'Sullivan makes a move there, clean as, straight through Jeremiah Morton. So I think whilst Jeremiah was attacking Wayne Kendall, he's left that door open for Ryan O'Sullivan, who doesn't need too much. But like I said, a lot of the guys would have some pretty good setups for Montreal, no doubt at all, but they probably wouldn't have had a lot of lap time here at Suzuka.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of drivers would have, but actually it was Wayne Kendall who made the move on Jeremiah Morton and hanging out to dry, and Ryan O'Sullivan said, I'm going to follow through and take that one too. So he's done that. They've both gone through on Jeremiah Morton now, so he lost 2 spots in all of the first corner, and this, whoa, as he gets a bit closer into Degner 2, running a bit low to brake. But it's actually that little bit of a move that Wayne Kendall did on Jeremiah Morton. It's actually given Cooper Murray a bit of a gap in front of this field. Ooh. So if you can try and hold us, that's a bit of a late move there from Ryan O'Sullivan on Kendall.
Yeah, I hope he gives that spot back.
Yeah,
no,
he does. He gives an order. It's good sportsmanship there.
He's paid the penalty there. Not only has he given that spot away, but because they were so close, he's also given the spot of Baxter and Jeremiah Morton away. So, but you know, he made the mistake. He acknowledged straight away he made the mistake. There's no foul for Kendall. He didn't lose the spot. Doesn't look like there's any damage there at all. But the Ryan O'Sullivan car there, the Auto Loan Centre car, certainly did the right thing and gave that position and some straight back without hesitation.
Yeah, it's good to see that. All that's been going on, and Cooper Murray's just pulled out a good 10 car lengths and just said bye. So they will have to sort of quiet down as Morton has a look going into the final chicane on Wayne Kendall. So is Ryan O'Sullivan on David Baxter. They're all having a dig as Morton gets that one done on Kendall. Baxter's still holding Rhino on the outside. He's going to get it done coming through the final corner. Well done as well behind him. I think that was Searlack having a go at Sharp. It's all kicking off now.
Well, who said that there's not much passing here at Suzuka? And I was, to be honest with you, but look, these guys are having a go. And Searlack in the background on Greg Sharp.
Oh, he hit the curb. He hit the inside curb. And that was... Yeah,
let's see if he redresses that.
Yeah, he did.
He has hit the curb. Yeah. So, well, you know, again, as we said with Ryan O'Sullivan, yeah, good sportsmanship, and that's the same with Mitch just there. He realised he made a mistake, let Greg Sharp straight back through. Yeah, that's all you can ask. Whether Sharpie got damaged or not, don't know. Looks like he did cop a little bit. But Mitch has done everything he can right there to make that situation better. So well done to him.
Yeah, he did what was right. And just got a little bit hot took too much of the inside curve, flicked him off and into the car of Greg Sharp. I think Sharp's got a bit more damage than what Searlack may have given him there. So I don't think the damage would be a bit of a worry. But yeah, they've lost ground to this pack in front of them after all that. But that was going to happen. But Morton's already starting to catch the back of Cooper Murray. As soon as he got clean air out behind Wayne Kendall, he started to go.
Yeah, he did. Cooper's done a pretty good job here. He probably has got the slow of the cars, but he's maintained himself in 6th position. Kept himself nice and clean. That car is looking... I'm just reading the sponsors at the front. That car's looking as clean as go-karts go at the front there. So doing a fantastic job.
Oh yeah, he's doing a great job in the position he is. But Ford, appears to have major problems. We missed that. Sorry, Ford has got major issues. He has lost it coming out of Spoon Curve on the exit as we look at a replay, and it's just, it just picked up the rear and thrown it into the inside fence. I don't think that was one that Fordy would have wanted, but I think he is going to park it and leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like I said, surprised he drove at all. That car is as bent as, so the Maverick welding car is done for the day, and yeah, maybe the doctors just come in as well. Don't know, but certainly an uncharacteristic mistake there by Ian Ford. But like I said, he's as crook as a dog's hind leg tonight. So, but he's all right now.
Yeah, as that actually moves Matt Jones up into second. He is showing what he can do now. He's got a good car under him at the moment, and he is in second. He's actually 9 seconds. It may seem like a lot, but around here the track is super long as it is, so to only be 9 seconds off Ethan Grignold, he did have Ian Ford in front of him that would have made that gap a little bit smaller. Now he's just got clean air, he can run what he's doing, and he's definitely in the position to get a podium at the moment.
Well, and I hope he does. I really, genuinely hope he does, because like I said, he puts in, week out, and he's getting his just reward. Hopefully tonight on our race spot coverage. In the meantime, this battle here, Ryan O'Sullivan, his car looks as clean as, but we know he's had a few touches here and there, but he's still getting some good lap times in from, like I said, he's come from last on the grid in this race, 22nd on the grid. This is the car 15, up into 7th place and hounding the back of Jeremiah Morton, who already hairpin's gone a bit defensive.
Yeah, he's just playing that defensive car just a little bit into the hairpin. You can do that because you won't lose as much on the exit as you would on other corners. But Ryan O'Sullivan is all over the back of Jeremiah Morton. He'll want to get this done before the pit stop. It's only lap 8, so there's still a long way to go before we may even see a couple of these guys start to pit. As I think Morton is just gonna move aside. So yeah, we'll see what happens there as he does. He actually moves aside and lets Rhino through. So interesting bit of play there. We'll see how that pays out later on.
No, I got it. It's a long race, and Jeremiah knows this. And what might happen here? Is he understeers badly at 130R though? That's going to open the door for both Kendall and Baxter to try and have a bit of a go here, really, really deep. So as they go through the Casio triangle, and he's able to hold that, I'm thinking because it's such a long race, and Jeremiah, who has been under fire for some of his racecraft of past, maybe he's learnt his lesson here. Maybe if he can think he can stay under the back of Ryan O'Sullivan, that they'll bring him back up. But just with that little mistake at 130R, that's probably undone all the good work that he's put in there, and now he's right under attack from Wayne Kendall and Dave Baxter.
Yeah, he definitely just got marbles into 130R being on that inside, and it just drifted him all the way off the track, and it definitely brought him back to this little battle pack of Wayne Kendall and David Baxter. But I'm surprised behind them actually. Actually, we got Sealak has gotten past Greg Sharp behind them, but Sealak isn't making a lot of ground. He's making ground, but not as much as I would have thought. Maybe that little bit of a accident into turn 1 that he had with Greg Sharp maybe have bent the steering just a little bit, and it's not handling exactly how he'd want at the moment.
Yeah, you could probably say the same for Jason Bentz as well. Normally, fairly significantly higher there in the Angry Birds car, and whilst we've got Angry Birds on the look, mate, the Angry Birds series running on Tuesday nights is just going from strength to strength, and really, really good numbers there on Tuesday nights for the Angry Birds series. So it starts at, help me out here, Jake, 7:30, thinking?
Yes.
So you've got the OSR Development Series, which has been going for a long time and is a very successful series, and great for those learning tracks and developing. But for those who want to get that little bit deeper in out with your open setups and things like that, well, the other option is the Angry Bird Series, and like I said, that's gone from strength to strength. So good job to the team like Nick Hausler and all those at Angry Birds.
Yeah, they do a great job putting on a great show on Tuesday night. So it's definitely one for everyone to come and jump on and have some good fun with everyone. It definitely gets you a little bit more prepared, especially being open setup, and just give you something to work on. But at the moment up front, it's definitely Ethan Griggold. That's all it is. Matt Jones in second, Coppo third, King fourth, with Cooper Murray in fifth, with Ryan O'Sullivan starting to close down on his heels right now.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter. It won't be this lap. It'll probably be the lap after where he's right with Cooper Murray. So little gains there. 207.2 last lap as he gets a bit loose there at turn 1. So it's 207.2 compared to a 208.3. So a 1.1 second gain there for Ryan O'Sullivan, who did a really good job last week, has to be known, at VIR. Came fourth in that race. So he's in some pretty good form at the moment.
Yeah, he's in some very good form at the moment, and he's been showing it lately in everything in the V8 that he's driven in all the series. He's just being consistent and has that race pace that I don't think a lot of people expect from him. He's definitely growing as a driver, and it's showing now where he can start to get the car up the front, especially from starting on 22nd on the grid, and he's already up to 6 as it is now, and we're only 10 laps into the race. Yes, alright, a couple of people had damage and a couple of people have missed it, but he has consistently worked his way through this field, and he's done a little bit of trouble here and there with a couple of bumps, but he's given the spots back and has still managed to gain the position. So as he's catching up to Cooper Murray now, that is a top 5 that he's going for, and it's going to be an amazing job that he's done at the moment. Oh, it's Cooper Murray really sideways coming through 200R. Oh, he's managed to just hold on to that. He's lost a lot of ground to Ryan O'Sullivan though, as Sullivan is all over the back of him coming out of Spoon Curve.
Tell you what he also is going to lose. He's going to lose a bit of confidence in those tyres as well, because that would have been a real scare for him. So with 130R coming up, let's just see if he's able to hang on there, because maybe, just maybe, these tyres are disappearing. Like Ryan, he looks probably one of the fastest out there. You know, take away Ethan Brickell, Ryan O'Sullivan's lap times are the second fastest on track at the moment. Just got to make sure when he does these dives here that it's all clean, he doesn't trip over anyone.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a late look there. He actually thought better of it and sort of packed it up a little bit and backed out of it. He's got Cooper Murray just, he'll want to get around it, and it's been known that he's just trying to get these positions done early, but I think he just needs to sit behind him and watch it at the moment. He's made up so much ground now. I think he's getting ground hungry in the way. He just wants to keep making up those positions, move as far up as possible, but sometimes it's better just to sit behind. Yes, the pace won't be as quick, but he's got a bit of a gap behind to Jeremiah Morton, so he can conserve it a little bit now, maybe save a bit of the tyres and maybe come back on later on in the race.
Well, that's right, but with pit stops coming up lap 11 now, I don't think these guys will be too keen to pit yet. I don't think actually they'll be able to pit yet. I think probably the pit window opens in another few laps. We're just going to go back to Jeremiah Morton.
Yep.
However, it looks like he's had an issue, and let's see what's happened there.
Oh, he's had contact with Wayne Kendall, it appears, and
yep.
He's lost it, and Wayne Kendall's actually slowed down, it looks like, on mine to try and give that spot back, but not enough.
Yeah, that's going to really badly affect their race. And talk about affected races, we've got Ian Ford here from the Maverick Welding ERA team joining us quickly in the booth. 40, welcome to Round 11, broadcast of RaceSpot TV's in conjunction with iRacing.com broadcast of Round 11 of the Suzuka V8 Supercar Championship. I think I just said everything twice then. Pretty sure I did. Mate, not the greatest of races, but how are you feeling, and has the doctor been?
Still feeling pretty average. Doctor hasn't been. I was absolutely just flogging the car with as much aggression as I could. Just trying to make a gap, try and get the race over and done with nice and fast. I just went a bit wide there and absolutely binned the car. So now I'm pretty much just playing spotter for the boys, and hopefully we can get a couple more cars in the top 5 before the end of it.
Mate, you might want to turn that fan off there. Sounds like a jumbo's about to land in my ear. But mate, the track temperature, mate, 45 degrees. Obviously it was fairly slippery out there, but you know, you look at your teammate Ryan O'Sullivan and with Blake Coppo, these guys at the moment looking really racy. Blake into 3rd and Ryan into 6th. So how are they going to be going?
I think they're going to be they're going to be doing quite well at the end of the race. We've thrown together a bit of a new set. I've only done 1 lap of practice on it, so that's why my quality was a bit down. But other than that, I ran totally different pressures compared to the boys, and gave them my feedback about how the other pressures went. So at the stop, they might change pressures, they might stay the same, depending on where they are and what the circumstances are. But they're going to come home awfully strong.
I'm going to have a bet here. I'm going to say your fan's rotating left to right, because it comes and it goes, mate. But mate, well, not the greatest performance tonight by yourself, but like I said earlier, you're a bit crook. So hopefully the boys will do a pretty good job here. Like I said, Blake up in the 3rd place, and he's got some competition behind him with Brendan King and Ryan O'Sullivan coming from 22nd on the grid. So both the boys are running pretty strong.
Yeah, there's definitely some strong competition out there tonight, even though, you know, some of the bigger names apparently aren't there. But, you know, Matt Jones qualifying second, that's an awesome performance for him, and Brendan King running in fourth. You know, he's definitely not going to sit on his laurels and give Kelpo a free ride. I think it's going to be fun for young and old after the pit stops, and then I think they're all just going to settle in once the race gets a bit exhausting.
Okay, and just quickly before you go, what's the pit strategy here for the boys? What lap should we be looking at them pitting?
When they run out of fuel, they're just going to go hard and fast and pit pretty much whenever they need to. It's all up to them. I'm just staying out of that.
Well, as Ryan O'Sullivan makes a move there, so he moves through and takes that position of Cooper Murray. Ian Ford, thanks tonight, mate, and hopefully the doctor will give you some cure to your ailments there, and you'll be back into it tomorrow night for the Angry Birds Racing. And this Friday night we'll talk further about SDRT. They've got their endurance on at Montreal. Pretty sick of that place, I've got to admit. Those shortcuts are ridiculous. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what else we can bring to the table this week.
Thank you.
Cheers. Ian Ford there from Evolution Racing Australia. Binned it nice and early tonight on the Exeter Spoon. His race is done. Whilst that was going on, Ryan O'Sullivan again on the Exeter Spoon was able to get through for position there on Cooper Murray, so that's a change from 5th and 6th position.
Yeah, also we had, I think Wayne Kendall ran a bit wide and lost a bit of ground as well behind them as well. I think there was a couple of other cars. I think Morton's lost more ground after his spin. He ran wide through Spoon Curve, I believe, the last lap by. So a little bit of change as well as that interview was going on. And Ryan O'Sullivan now up into 5th. He got that move done through Spoon Curve on Cooper Murray and is now just starting. He's already opened a good couple of car lengths on him already.
Yeah, he has, and I tell you what, the car looks hooked up, doesn't it? He's worked his way through from last position to now in the top 5. Yes, there's been some instances with cars, we saw that, but you know, he gave Wayne a bit of a tap, I think it was a while ago, and didn't just drop back 1 spot, dropped back 2 spots, so lost time there. So he's certainly looking racy. The gap in front, to be fair, is quite a significant gap from here on in. It's up to 11 seconds. So he's got a lot of work to do in front of him. In the meantime, just behind them, Dave Baxter and a recovering Mitchell Searlack. This is for positions 7 and 8, and this is certainly heating up as well. As Wayne Kendall seems to have dropped off the back a little bit there as well. So, you know, the tyre life really might be starting to struggle with Brad now.
Yeah, this is where the tyres start to drop off that little bit. But Mitchell Searlack has been making inroads during the entire race, and he's now on the back of David Baxter. He had a look going into the hairpin, but didn't manage to get that one done. So he's now just going to sit behind as they come up to 130R. He may have a look going into the Casino Triangle, but I don't know whether he has the straight line speed. That damage may be hurting just a little bit because he didn't actually make a lot of ground in that draft. So he may just have to sit there, and he's going to have a big look going into the final chicane, and he's backed out of that one quite quickly. So you'll have to think about trying to get a run down on this front straight now.
Yeah, we're going to tell you what, the battle for second's getting ever closer as well. Matty Jones with a 7.3 as close as last lap. Blake Copper a 7 flat, as with Brendan King a 7 flat. So these guys are just slowly, there's still the 4 seconds covering this group, but this is a group that's going to get closer as the race goes on, and if it continues this way, Blake will make just 2 seconds behind now Matt Jones, and you know he'll be there in the next few laps, but that's when the pit window's open as well. So there could be a bit of strategy come into play here. Get some new rubber on, get some quick times in with this undercut, which is significant here, and see what he can do and try and see if he can get past that Performance Racing Team car.
Yeah, that little bit of a strategy that they could play now will definitely come into some people's hand. That undercut is aggressive, if you'd say here. It's so much time can be gained from coming 1 to 2 laps early, and it can put you jump a couple of cars and get you a lot of clean air that you would need towards the end of the race. You can sort of roll back on and have a nice little cushion to some of the cars behind them, but that's just one thing that they've got to watch out for now and worry about. When they start the catch, I know for Brendan King, you may catch Coppo and then straight away jump in trying to get that undercut. It may be worthwhile for him to do that. He could even then jump Matt Jones in the process. So those little things that could come into play will start to come into play when this pit window opens very shortly.
Yeah, they will. So I'm just looking at Matt Jones, the Henlick Industries car there, looking absolutely mint there. Does it's a wonderful job on that livery there by the custom image. Andrew Ossier, I reckon, would have done that. So that looks really clean. The liveries on the V8s, and it was said last night during the Scops race, and I 100% agree that the guys, like yourself, Night Riders Design, and the other guys who get themselves involved with making the skins up for these cars, it's raised to the next level. Like the driving standards and the driver capabilities, we see that week in, week out. It's just gone up and up and up. But with that, the presentation of the cars is just magnificent.
Yes, the presentation is definitely of high caliber. I know I'd have to say that some of it is very high. As I'm just looking back here, Mitchell Selak is starting to close in and starting to harass the back of David Baxter in that Redback Racing Ford. He's just starting to work that rear bumper, give it maybe a couple of little taps here and there, and maybe make up this position. He wants to get it done. Oh, slow down, I think. Maybe.
No, just lost the rears a bit. No,
okay,
just lost the rears. So he just got on the power too early and took a bit to catch it, and it's taken a little bit longer than I would have thought to recover. But he'll get back in there. There's no doubt about that. And he's got Wayne Kendall right behind him now. So that Rat Corp car has just been thereabouts, hasn't it? It certainly just seems to be tailing off a little bit. Greg Sharp in a very heavily damaged auto-loan car behind. Jason Benson, actually Jeremiah Morton has also backed off as well. I'm actually surprised with Jeremiah's pace tonight. I have to say he did let Ryan O'Sullivan through fairly easily, and he's already 13 seconds off of Ryan O'Sullivan. So Jeremiah's pace is on. And also, whilst we're here just going through, the KRF guys have got a car here tonight with Daniel Ackland down in 13th place, the Adelaide Tarp Specialist car and Kimmy Rule's fencing car. It's great to see a team that keeps coming week in, week out, generally in the second, sometimes third split. It's great to see them here as well. So fantastic that Dan Ackland has got himself here in the top split and doing a good job in 13th position.
Yeah, it just shows the diversity of the V8 supercar field that we have at the moment. So many teams represented in the top split now, and it's going to keep growing. And there's more teams sort of get built and come in and race. There's a couple that are missing tonight. I know for a fact that there's a couple that we could be here and might not be here, and some others that we know that float around with the V8 Scops and OSR and Angry Bird series as well. So a couple of those guys aren't here, and it'd be good to have the diversity, like you said, and the presentation of all these different teams is so top notch that it definitely puts our series on a map.
And talking diversity, this is a long race tonight, no doubt, with the 35 laps. So it is a long race. Tell you what's going to be a longer race, Jake, is this Friday night. It's round 3 of the SDRT Endurance Series at Montreal. We're talking before the SDRT 240 on Friday night. Make sure you jump on their Facebook page or have a look on their forums. Have a watch out for Shane Rayner. Does an outstanding job organising that event, and no doubt he'll get some details over the week. And that's again, we talked about the Angry Bird series, and we will talk about the Premier Series obviously shortly. But that SDRT Enduro, not so long ago, there was only 8 to 10 cars in it. Last race, I think they had about 19 or 20 cars. And again, the popularity of the V8 is just growing and growing, and the numbers of the people who are doing such a good job within the V8 is growing and growing. It's just such a great thing for the cars.
Yeah, it is, and that will actually be broadcasted on RTV. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that'll be broadcasted as well, so it'll be good to see that one on the live streams. But here, race spot, we got this race. Is Brendan King. He did just make a pit stop, so he's the first one to blink at the front 4. And that may make Coppo and Matt Jones
I think it's a good idea.
Have a think. Yeah, come in, get that undercut, and it may work for him here, depending on whether these two pit now or stay out a little bit.
I think he's going to force their hand here, and we've got Coppo exiting the Casio Triangle. Now does he pit? Jones certainly doesn't. Yes. Coppo certainly does. Okay, so this is really significant here. The guy who was coming third out of this pack, 2 seconds behind Blake, was the first to pit, who alternatively has now just pitted. So wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure. I think they need, was it 45 litres here? I'm not sure where he's going to come out in comparison with Brendan King. I think that's Ryan O'Sullivan coming in really
He'll
hot there in the back
yeah,
as well.
I think he may have gotten, definitely would have gotten a speeding there. That was, he was a good 50 k's over the limit on entry. It wouldn't surprise me if he got a speeding fine there.
So let's just watch out here. Coppo is still in the pits. Is that Brendan King going through?
Yeah.
Not yet.
He's at the Casio Triangle, sorry. So he's coming along around the last corner now.
So Coppo's still stationary. And he's leaving now. So this will be a gain here for King. No doubt King is through quite easily, in fact. So whether Coppo took more fuel than what needed, but King's made a decent gain there for sure. And what we need to do now is watch out for the car 6 of Matt Jones and see what he can bring to the table. Whether he's going to pit now, I'm going to think that he's going to need to. He has to react to this move.
Yeah, and as I was saying, Ryan O'Sullivan is still in the pits, so he would have had a hold for about 15 to 30 second penalty there from his speeding in the pit lane. He has actually dropped to behind Greg Sharp and Jason Bentz. He has lost all that hard work that he made up from 22nd to 5th, and now he's got to do it all over again. He's got about half of the race to do it. He could do it again. He's got fresh boots. He may be able to do it, but that speeding penalty really hurt him.
Yeah, but everyone else has got fresh boots
as well. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. We forgot Ethan's racing. We'll have a look at Ethan later on. The new skin there looks fantastic, but my attention right now on lap 17 through Casio Triangle is with Matt Jones. He's going to need to pit. If he doesn't pit, he's made a mistake, and he has made a mistake. Matty, get yourself in the pits because you're hemorrhaging time. A 2:07.2 was your last lap. If you've got someone spotting for you, Matty, get yourself in the pits, mate.
Yeah, he really needs to jump in now because, as you can see, just from Blake Coppo staying out one extra lap, Brendan King sort of jumped in by that 2-second gap that he sort of had behind him, 2 in front of him, and that's not what I think Coppo would have wanted, and Matt Jones will have lost at least 2 to 4 seconds now, so he will come out behind, I reckon, Blake Coppo. It depends on, he's got a bit of a gap there behind Blake Coppo to the next car in line, which is Chad Vigar, so there's a bit of a ground there that he can slot in, but the more laps he stays out, will be the more time that he will lose to these two up in second and third provisionally.
Yeah, well, let's just see what the lap time here was for King. It is a 2:06 flat. Now that was in comparison with Jones's 2:07.2, so there's 1.2 already, plus the lap before, so he's already going to be close to the pocket. Blake Coppo's lap, I know it's a pit stop at 2:55. Well, that compared to King's in front with a 2:54, so the pit stop times were actually very similar. So some significant gains made here, and again, let's see what Matt Jones does. He's going around 200R, 2:07.2. Like I said, he dropped 1.2 seconds. He is going to be the race leader after Ethan had his pit. Is he? I think he is. Yes, he definitely is.
I just want to also jump back. Mitchell Searlack has jumped a whole bunch of cars from that pit stop. He has actually jumped Cooper Murray, who was in 6th position at the time. And because of him coming in that 1 to 2 laps earlier, he has jumped that entire pack of cars. And one of the main person that lost a lot of ground was Ryan O'Sullivan. But we know what happened to him. He got a speeding penalty in the pits, but he's lost a lot of ground there.
And Vlasic pits from his position. Again, Matty Jones, let's see if he pits. Going to have to, if he wants to get a good result. Matty, I hope he's not chasing laps in the lead. He does a 2:08. He has a great chance to get a podium position here, but as each lap goes by, he's just dropping that little bit more. Look, he's going to have fresher tyres at the end. I think he'll come out of the pits behind both Blake and King, and he will have fresher tyres, but he's giving away track position to two guys who are pretty quick, and the 2:08 is not really what he's after. What was he last lap there? Yeah, he's going to be dropping time for sure behind these guys. So these guys are just exiting 130R now, coming up to the Casio Triangle. They've got a slower car, Mark Fee, in front to be lapped, and geez, Mark's car looks completely toast up the front. The only corner he has is the back corner, it looks like there, so Mark's certainly struggling. I'll tell you what, Blake Coppo's had a decent run here as they both run a pair of 2:06s, so a 2-second gain, so already just by looking at that these two are already past Matt Jones on the track. They will be, but right now this is where the battle is for 5th and 6th, which is going to work out to be 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, and I think also Matt Jones now doesn't need to worry about those two. I think he needs to worry about Mitchell Steele. Like, he will lose that much time if he stays out. He could drop all the way back here. Yes, he may have fresher tyres, but these guys know what they're doing. These guys aren't slouches up the front, and to keep up with them, you've got to play the strategy game with them. You can't just try and run your same strategy. That's what you do. You have to make it up on the fly. And to try and stay out this long, especially with how aggressive this undercut is, he's just going to be dropping time, dropping positions that could have been a potential podium.
No, he's a minute 7, so 67 seconds ahead of Mitchell Sielak last lap around. Boy, it's a big call. I don't think he's going to come into the pocket of Mitchell. I think certainly being 50 seconds ahead of King and Copper, I think he's going to drop that. The same can be said for Jeremiah Morton, Daniel Ackland. These guys, running 2nd and 3rd at the moment. 3rd and 4th.
Morton
Jones
pitted.
does pit.
So Jones wins.
So Jones pits now, and from the lead, let it be known. So lap 19 from the lead, just over halfway through the race. So let's see how long he spends in the pits, and more interestingly, let's see how far behind he comes out behind both King and Coppo, who are right neck and neck.
Yeah, those two are battling super hard at the moment. Coming up to 130R, they've got Mark Fee in front of them. I think they won't catch him through 130R. They may catch him on the front straight, which is okay. Mark Fee letting him through, coming into the Casio Triangle, so nice job there from Mark Fee to stay out of these two way as this battle is growing. But Matt Jones is still in the pits, and he's in there for a long time. That's Daniel Ackland coming in behind him.
So a good run here by Blake. Oh no, it's not. He just got on the power, that just lost that rear traction. Just going to jump over here and see where Jones is coming out of the pits now, so he drops behind both of those two. Okay, so Jones is pitted now on the start of lap 20, so lap 19 pitted. The other two guys in front pitted significantly earlier, Coppo on lap 17, so he's got himself an extra 2-3 laps of tyre wear here. Let's see if he can make any ground, but I tell you what, if he's not disappointed, he could be, because he was coming second. He had a real genuine red hot go at being on the podium here, and I really hope that the strategy here hasn't let him down.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he didn't lose more ground than he did. Yes, he's a couple of seconds behind, but he's actually closer than I thought he may have been, especially with these two. I think the battling that these two started to do may have not helped him, but he's just got to stick in it now. He can see them. That's the good thing that he's got. He can see those two in front of him. And if he can just start letting these two battle, he will catch them in a rate of knots. And with those 3 to 4 laps extra tyres, who never knows at the end of this one.
Yeah, it is. So these guys go on here at lap 20, and Ethan Grigg got way out in the front now. We might just actually sit by and have a look at this skin for a little bit. It's a new Knight Rider design skin on this car. We'll give it some airtime here for the sponsor KSW Paints. Great to see some sponsorship here for the STC Simpit racing team, and Ethan did a fantastic job last night in the Premier Series race. 5th position, I think, in the end. Just had his handful with 5th, I think. Was it? Oh, it could have been 6. Yeah, it could have been 6. You're right. Had his handful in the last lap with young Josh Rogers, who shortcutted the last corner, unfortunately. But let's talk about that Scops race last night. It was awesome. Jared Filsell winning that over a
Madison down.
Well, Madison doesn't make. Yeah, I know he came second, but he doesn't make many mistakes as a driver. But the TTR guys kind of dropped the ball with their fuel strategy last night. 12 litres short he was. And I think Tony Orchard was the same there. So what it did though was present such a great finish to what was a really good race.
Yeah, it presented itself quite nicely there. I don't think Madison Down wanted it to. He was comfortably in front, and I think he would have been looking at those fuel numbers going, what have I done wrong? It's sort of one of those things that you don't expect, especially from such a high caliber team at TTR. And it just all went wrong for them towards the end of that one. And to have a couple of them make the same fuel error is a bit weird. So someone made a massive miscalculation there on pit stop strategy or something, and it ultimately bit Madison down on the last lap, on the last straight, and Phil Sell got it done. And it's a good way for Phil Sell to start the championship for defence that he's got, and he'll definitely, I'd say, keep that up for the rest of the year. As I think Brendan King has got an issue and let Coppo by, so Coppo
probably another shortcut, I think.
Yeah,
and he's got Jones through as well. So, gee, look at the ground Jones has made early on here. Significant ground, and through King, and that's a big boost for Jones's opportune chance here to try and make serious gains already on Coppo. And just going last night quickly again whilst we watch this battle between King and Jones, I think Jared Filsell would have led for all of 100 metres last night, but it's the most important 100 metres of that race. So congratulations to him and the ANZ team. Round 2 will be at Watkins Glen using the Cup configuration in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So not sure whether there's going to be 2 splits or 3 splits. Obviously a bit of a show going on there at the moment that's going to be sorted out, no doubt, but make sure you keep your eyes open for the Premier Series in 2 weeks, as Brendan King from 2nd position has dropped down to 4th place, and he's going to have a hard time getting past Matt Jones on those new tyres.
Yeah, this is where Matt Jones now really needs to start to just put his head down. He doesn't need to watch Brendan King behind him. He knows he's got the fresher rubber, and he's just got to control that gap now to Blake Coppo and try and bring that down. Coppo's now just got a little bit of a gap, but like you said, he's made ground already on them. Especially, he was made a little bit of an error there, but he still did a 2:06.5, which is a 10th quicker than Coppo. So if he can just keep his head down now, he's got those fresher tyres, he would definitely be on the back of Blake Coppo. Whether he can get past, that's another thing.
Yeah, I think Coppo's really in the groove now. He's got himself up into 2nd place, and geez, I don't want to burn you here, Blake, but he doesn't seem to make a lot of mistakes. His car's got 3 laps older tyres than Matt Jones, and Jones certainly has put on a really impressive show tonight. I would have, as we said, I would have loved it if he pitted a couple laps early. Wouldn't have to worry about passing traffic. I would have thought he'd already be out there, but his tyres are certainly newer, no doubt at all. He's already made that ground there on Brendan King, who's, I think, probably made a mistake into Degner 1 again, not just there, but the lap previous with a shortcut. So dropping down a little bit, Brendan, but yeah, I think even as it stands now, if he does grab hold of 4th place, that will be his best position for a Monday night main strength of field race.
Yeah, it'll be a good result from Brendan King. It'll be a good result for most of these guys, I think. With the V8 scops on the weekend, it sort of scared a couple of people off after Montreal, which personally I do not like as it is, and I think it's just one of those tracks that's not suited for this car, but we're going there next week as well for the official series, so it's back to Montreal again, which is just going to be great fun, but everyone will have the setups in place, so no one can sort of say they didn't have a good car setup because you worked for 3-4 nights and weeks in advance on the Premier Series setup, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out to play. I think the last round of the championship for this season will heat up definitely.
Yeah, it's just the shortcuts there. It turned a great race into a good race last night with the shortcuts, didn't it? But that's by the by. The guys do a good job, and it's just a matter of driving around those curbs. What we might do is actually jump on board this lap with Brendan King. Just have a listen to this V8 as the ANZ Simworks car goes down this main straight. And what we've got in front of us is Matty Jones in front of us. So we might just jump on board for this lap around the Suzuka circuit. So as he short shifts from second to third to fourth as he go across the start finish line, that's the end of a lap 23 on to lap 24, 206.695 by the ANZ driver Brendan King there. He was out of iRacing for quite a while. I think he had a lot of computer problems, and I think just in the last week or so has got himself a new PC. So it's great to see Brendan up and active again, and for the car 17 to be up in fourth position, he'll take that, I reckon, but he's got third and second just in front. And Matt Jones is making ground, a 206.4 compared to a 206.7 for Blake Copper in front in that Damadov Innovations car. So as much as Matty Jones probably stayed out too long, the loss that he suffered at first, he's making that ground now, but he's got to get past him. He's got to get there, and then he's got to get past, and that's certainly just a little bit off here.
Yeah, and he could have comfortably been in second, and that's the thing. I think he will be kicking himself over. He could have pitted, come out in front and clean air, not have to worry about Coppo. He would have had 1 or 2 lap fresher tyres because he would have still pitted later, but it's definitely one of the things that he wouldn't have wanted. But as you look back here, Sullivan is now starting to come back through the field. He's now starting to do this again. He's right behind Jason Bentz, who's definitely not going to be easy for him to get around, and it's one of those things that I think Sullivan will be kicking himself over definitely after that speeding penalty.
Well, I'm looking at it, he lost 20 seconds in comparison, just look at his times then. So compared to everyone else, he lost 20 seconds in the pits. So obviously, let's just call it as is, it must have been a 20-second stop-go penalty, no doubt. So looking at his times now, you put him 20 seconds up the road, and that would have had him in a great battle just in front of Mitchell Searle. But he's not, he made a mistake. And he's paying the price for it, 10th position at the moment, putting some pressure on Jason Bentz. Jason's not going to just get out of the way for him because Jason's got some genuine pace as well, but Ryan's car just looks so much better with the older tyres compared to those around him.
Yeah, and it showed in the first stint when he definitely was picking them off one by one. The issue that he has now is the field isn't as close as what it was when he did this the first time. He's got much more gap to make up, so he may only gain 1 or 2 spots, but we'll see how he goes as this race goes on. Just moving back up to this battle for second at the moment between Blake Coppo and Matt Jones. Matt Jones gained another 3/10 on Blake Coppo, a 206.4 to a 206.8. That gap is definitely starting to come down, and this will start to liven it up. Oh, as Jones actually, I think he just got loose there. As I said, that commentator's curse, maybe just a little bit. My bad. Just got a little bit loose through the S's. He's still regained it. Lost a couple of tenths there though, but he'll easily be able to make that up after the pace that he's been showing.
Yeah, he will, but as every lap goes by, his tyres...
Sullivan has an issue. Sorry. There's a big issue with Ryan O'Sullivan. He's stuck in the middle of the track. I am trying to find out what's happened on the cameras now, but he is stopped in a precarious position.
Issue.
Yeah,
that's got to be something wrong that he can't see. I don't know whether his screen's gone black.
It stopped, and he stopped in the worst position at the moment. I don't think he meant to. He actually got into his teammate Greg Sharp then in the brakes. So that was not something that would have been nice.
He was well ahead of Greg Sharp. So obviously something significant has happened there for Ryan O'Sullivan, which is a shame because it was a great drive from 22nd up to 5th, made that pit lane error, dropped him down into 10th place, but obviously his day is cooked.
Yeah, I think he's had a mechanical issue now, so definitely not the way he wanted to finish that one. After such a strong showing from Ryan there, he's had a mechanical issue and he's had to retire from this one.
Yeah, and I think you'll see him disappearing from the server very shortly, unfortunately, so that's a real shame, and he has had those problems quite a bit over the last few weeks, so just obviously caught up with him here. But that mistake by Jones, he just looks like he's lost his rhythm as well now. His last lap is just going to be off pace here with a 206.8, so for the first time Blake Copper actually makes a gain with a 206.5, so a 3/10 gain there between Coppo and Matty Jones.
Yeah, that little bit of a gain, just that little bit of a mistake gives Coppo that little bit of a gain that he would have needed just to step off Matt Jones from his rear bumper and maybe just sort of focus it a bit more onto what he's watching in front of him. I know it's one of those things when you have a car behind you, you're sort of looking in your mirrors more than you're looking in front, which is one of those things that as a driver, you just have to put off and just focus on what you're doing, hit your marks and getting those lap times as close as you can for what you have on the tyres. And that's one thing that Jones has up his sleeves. He can sort of flog these tyres a little bit harder. He has those 3 extra sort of laps of grip left over Blake Coppo, and that will definitely be one of those things that Coppo will be feeling towards the end.
Yeah, it will be, and like you were saying, Jones's tyres, they should hang in there longer, but with the setups, we saw it in the first stint, like I know Jones ran longer, but you know, for that laps 12 to 15 type thing, Blake's tyres certainly looked like they were lasting a lot better than the Jones car. There's a few other little battles just brewing in the background as well. Dave Baxter and Wayne Kendall. Certainly hasn't been anything threatening there at all. Baxter 7-7, but Wayne Kendall with a 7 flat has certainly made ground, and in front of them Cooper Murray with a 7-4. So these 3 guys are just starting to close up each other. This is 6th, 7th and 8th.
Yeah, that battle's just starting to relive its first stint battle that they had. It'll close back up as each one gets each other's draft and starts to work out what they've got in terms of setup and tyre pressures for this second stint, and just that little bit that they can gain on Cooper Murray. Seeing Cooper have some issues definitely towards the end of that stint, he started to pull away from that battle pack and sort of put his head down and get where he wanted to be, but at the moment with these 2 catching him, he may be in that same sort of scenario. It's about the same sort of lap numbers that he would have had when the rest of the field were right on the back of him, so he'll just have to try and get his head down. These 2 are closing in, and I think for a matter of fact up front, these 2 between Blake Coppo and Matt Jones have run identical times nearly, and that gap hasn't changed at all.
No, it hasn't. Just with Dave Baxter, the car 11, that Redback Racing car. Yeah, the Redback Racing, Bernie Weemers and the boys here do a really good job, but the V8 numbers are down, so you know, Dave, I'm not sure he gets a hell of a lot of support with the V8 setup, so for him to come out, and he does it every week, puts in a strong performance every week, no doubt at all, and you know, the car looking fine, that Ford Falcon there, the car 11, but he's going to come under pressure, I reckon, really shortly from Wayne Kendall.
Yeah, and that pressure is just going to amount to them losing Cooper Murray in front of him, and I don't think that's what David Baxter would have liked to have seen. He wants to get to the back of Cooper Murray before Wayne Kendall gets to the back of him, and try and just harass the back of Cooper to just keep him with him, because if he starts to get that little bit of a battle with Wayne Kendall, he can just see Cooper Murray will start to just edge away without that little bit of pressure that he will have on the back of him. And if he can just make it up in the next couple of laps, he can definitely make this a 3-way fight instead of just a battle between himself and Wayne Kendall.
Yeah, so lap 27 these guys are on as they enter the hairpin, and they just look like they're making gains on Cooper. Cooper's drive out of the hairpin, it's a weakness there. You can see he just doesn't seem to have that grip on exit, and that car is awfully wide onto the grass, so he's driving probably more than what the car can do at the moment. That was so close to ending his day there. You can't believe how close that car was close to crossing over and saying good night.
He's done that a couple of times. I've seen it in the first stint as well, and we've seen it with us. I was about to say the same thing as Ian Ford did before off of the spoon curve, as Wayne Kendall doesn't hit that inside wall, gets it going, but that releases the pressure from the back of David Baxter, and now he can solely focus on catching Cooper Murray, which he is now.
Look how much tighter Baxter was able to get on the exit there of 130R compared to Cooper Murray. Murray was using all the track and some, but Baxter was able to hold such a tighter line there. I'm not sure it was necessarily the faster line there, and he just seems to have dropped off on that exit there, so I certainly think he actually compromised his exit speed there with that line that he took, but you know, gee whiz, how close was that for Wayne Kendall in the meantime?
Oh yeah, they could have been race over like Ian Ford. He was very close to hitting that inside wall. He actually didn't go as far off the track as I would have thought. He managed to regather it, realise what was going on, caught the car, which he did an amazing job of, and just got his head back down and kept going. He's lost a couple of car lengths, a couple of seconds as well to David Baxter, but it could have been worse. It could have been race ending and he wouldn't be finishing in 8th, maybe even higher if these 2 in front of him start battling.
Meanwhile, back in this battle for second position, Matty Jones has made all that ground and some on Blake Coppo, so these guys are going to be racing to the finish, no doubt. We just looks like we've got a bit of an issue here with Jeremiah Morton and Greg Sharp. I'll just keep half an eye on that. I don't think there was much in it. It was just a little bit of a love tap between the two. I don't think there was any issues. No, there wasn't. so those guys will continue on. But yeah, up here with Blake Coppo and Matty Jones, this race has gone on and on. Matty Jones had that lead over these guys in 2.5 seconds, but obviously with those pit stop strategies, that's all turned around. But Coppo taking a unusual entry there around 130R, and I'm not sure whether Jones is going to be able to keep up with Blake over these last few laps.
Yeah, I think Blake there was just trying to break that draft a little bit. I don't know whether Joey needed to do that. But the gap's there. He was only 0.7 at the line, as there is an issue. Sharp and Morton. I think Morton's gotten around Greg Sharp, so he's got that position done on Sharp. Sharp has a beaten and battered car at the moment, so the simulated car has gotten around Greg Sharp and has moved up another spot. That'll move Jeremiah Morton inside the top 10. But yeah, back up to this battle between Coppo and Jones. It's just the things that the Coppo needs to do now. He's doing right. He gained a couple of tenths. He actually gained 4 tenths that lap, so he's moved it out to over a second gap, and if he can keep that up, he should comfortably maybe hold on the second, but a long way to go.
Yeah, well, Jones was the slowest of that pack last lap, 3 tenths down, even on Brendan King chasing him down behind. So, you know, maybe just that little mistake here and there, because it doesn't look like he's dropped off Blake Coppo at all this lap. Looks like there's been little bits of gains made, but as much as we said at the start that there was some passes, the passing opportunities are not easy here. You've really got to find your spots. Turn 1, it's such a quick corner on entry, it is hard to pass here. It can be made with a decent exit from Casio corner, but these two are actually catching up to Mario Vlasic, who's got a different colour car on tonight there, Jake, for your records. But to be honest with you, Mario's probably the worst possible colour car that you could have, because that's exactly the same colour as the track. Not easy to see.
It's grey. It's just grey. But it's different seeing him actually in a grey car. So used to finding the blue car in the pack. So this is a different thing. But yeah, like you were saying, it's one of those things that Jones is losing a bit of ground. He's actually gained a lot of ground this lap. I don't know whether Coppo had a little bit of a mistake, but it's actually, that gap looks visibly closer.
Yeah, it does, no doubt at all. So lap 29 now, so 35 lap race. So this is going to come down to the wire, and that's what we need to see between these two. These two have been at it all race, and it's fantastic that, you know, these guys who, I don't think Matty got into Premier Series, I'm pretty sure he didn't. I was actually surprised to see his name not involved there, and Blake got taken out pretty early. Can't remember who by, you might have to remind me there.
I'm sure.
Dylan Shepherd? I can't remember. Someone took him out in the... Oh, that was Smith, sorry. Yep. Someone got into the side of Blake Brendan Hobson. And yeah, so that ruined Blake's race completely, no doubt. So, actually, I think it's a teammate of Matty Jones now I think of it. So, yeah, hopefully the racing will be just that little bit cleaner tonight. Brenton got a drive-through penalty. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that Hobson's a dirty driver, because he's not dirty in any way. So let's not start casting aspersions. But there was a bit of an incident between the two last night.
Yeah, and actually Brenton Hobson I think is with SSR, not Performance Motorsport. So just to clear that up. As Jones through Degner 1, he was super sideways. He may have just cut that corner a little bit too much, but he seems to be okay with that. Yeah, a little bit of contact between Coppo and Hobson last night, but yeah, everything happens, move on from that. But he's just got to watch now. He's got Jones starting to close in. He gained a lot of time last lap, about half a second quicker was Matt Jones over Coppo, and if he keeps doing that, he'll be harassing the back of him in no time. But just going to have a quick look back and just update on that battle between Cooper Murray and David Baxter, as Murray gets super loose, locked a brake going into Degner 2, and actually David Baxter is now all over the back of him, coming into the hairpin as Cooper Murray does, or I think he sort of ran the middle line there. You can do that, not going defensive completely, but that gap has actually closed a lot this lap.
Yeah, as Cooper's going to be under attack here, and Dave's going to be able to make the most of that draft. They go through 200R. It's a corner, that long right, that, you know, when you got new tyres, you can take it pretty much flat, but it certainly finds you out later on when your tyres are a bit off, and becomes really difficult, and it's really a master class to try and get on that power so much earlier, and there is significant time that can be gained or lost there. But Baxter's done a really good job here, I think, from 9th on the grid up into 7th. but he's looking certainly the quicker of the two right now.
Yeah, and one thing that also behind them was Wayne Kendall is actually gaining a good chunk of time to them. He had that little mistake early on as Baxter maybe has a little look going into the Casio Triangle. But Wayne Kendall did. He had that little mistake earlier. He nearly put it in the same order that Ian Ford did. He's managed to regather and he's starting to close in on these two. I think by the end of it, he's running out of laps, but there's about 5 laps to go, and if he can just catch him within about 5 laps, he could certainly pick up these two, because it'll start battling and it'll heat up quite quickly.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like Cooper's got a lot of confidence in those tyres at the moment. We're going back up to P2 though at the moment, because that's still battling hard as well, and Blake's certainly not able to stretch out. I actually thought he'd be up and away, but Matty Jones has done a fantastic job here. Not sure either of these guys have had a podium position. I think Blake might have had a podium before on a Monday night race, but he is
They regathered,
so,
it's all good. Yeah,
no,
got it done.
That's the type of driver Matty is. He's given him a nudge, apologised straight away, backed right out of it, let Blake get away, and Blake might have actually got away here a little bit, but good, not great driver to tap him, but good sportsmanship to straight away recognise the mistake. And that's happened a few times tonight. Ryan O'Sullivan we saw, Mitch Searlack we saw, and now Matty Jones, so good to see there for sure.
Yeah, it's good to see the sportsmanship that we have going on in this series at the moment. It's definitely one of our highlights that we have of the series is the sportsmanship that we see, and that's amongst a lot of series as well. It's good to see that coming up in our series, but it just looks like that little tap is actually given, like you said, Copper a bit of an advantage, but now this is where that 3-lap tyre advantage that Matt Jones has starts to come into play. Coppo's tyres will definitely be super worn. He would have done more laps than he did on his first stint, so he won't know how these tyres are reacting, whereas Jones doesn't need to worry about the 19-20 laps he did in his first stint, because he's only going to be doing 15 laps on this final stint, and these tyres will definitely be in a better condition.
1.4 second gain there for the Brendan King car behind, because of the result of that little trip up there by the two in front. So I'm not sure Brendan's got the car underneath him at the moment, because let's not forget he was the first to pit of these three and main significant track position. Actually got past both of these guys with what was a really good pitch strategy. However, I think a shortcut at Degner 2 might have undone his day there a little bit, but little gains, and Matty Jones again not taking long to get onto the back of Blake Coppo.
Yeah, he's starting to close in on the back of Coppo quite quickly, and Brendan King, if these two do that again, he will be there as well. That's one thing that they've got to watch out for. If they get Brendan King onto this battle, it's going to be a 3-bay battle like we do have back with Cooper Murray, David Baxter and Wayne Kendall now has gotten onto the back of them. So there's 2 battles going on the track, and the one that's in the middle of both battle packs is Mitchell Searlack from 19th on the grid, sitting 5th just in his own little hair bubble doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty quiet, dull race for Mitch, unfortunately. But there's some points on offer here. Meanwhile, let's just forget we've got our leader here, Ethan Greg-Gault. We'll just have a look at him for a while there as he enters the Casio Triangle for what is lap 32 or 35. Ethan Greg-Gault 35 seconds ahead of Blake Coppo in second place. Let's have a look at Ethan's lap times here just to show the consistency of this guy. 6-1, 5-9, 6-2, 6-2, 6-1, 5-7 thrown in there, 6-1, 6-1, 5-8, 5-8, 5-6, 5-4. Super consistent times, and that's why he's leading this race so convincingly.
And that's why he does it very often, and I don't want to call it too early, but it could be back to back to back to back. It could be his 4th championship in a row, and he just shows that week in and week out in the official series that he can get this job done. And at the rate he's going, he could definitely... I don't think he was that much of a threat at the Premier Series. He definitely finished really high up. 6th for his one of his first individual drives in the series was a strong showing, and he's done that week in, week out with the championships in the official series. And if he can keep this up, hopefully, I'm not sort of treading on the toes that it's going to be his 4th championship. I think it is. I think everyone's sort of too far back now to make that ground up, especially with 1 week remaining. Who knows? Could it be 5? It's one of those things we thought at the start of the year. We had Rogers, we had Phil Sell, who was going to put it on. I know Phil Sell said he wanted to get. He hasn't won one of these, but Ethan's just once again he's put it in and he's got it done. Well, as we got an issue.
Looks like a bit of a drama here with Cooper.
Yeah,
So let's have a
Yeah.
look at that. That's with Dave Baxter and Cooper Murray into turn 1. Let's have a look what's happened here. Oh, I don't know if there was
A little bit of contact
there. It is a little bit of contact. The boys are having a conversation there. But yeah, that's. I can understand what Baxter's getting at there, but watch this. Have a look at this. Now, hopefully Cooper will keep his head on his shoulder here and not do anything silly, young Cooper. So hopefully he'll keep it clean. Try and get through again. So this is a battle for 6th and 7th. Sorry, yeah, 6th and 5th. Yeah, 6th and 7th. It did look a little bit netcode-ish. It did look a little bit netcode-ish, and that's what Dave Baxter's saying. He's saying he didn't touch him. I think that, yeah, Cooper got offline a little bit, but I don't know if there was contact there either. It was very close, but I'm not sure there was contact made.
Yeah, who knows, may have been a little bit of that aero push or something out of the rear end of Cooper Murray's car, but he's pushing really too hard at the moment, and he's losing ground to David Baxter. He's got the eyes on, and it's actually hurting him right now. David Baxter's just starting to walk away, and it's putting Kendall on the back of Cooper Murray, and if Cooper Murray keeps going like this, he will lose more ground. You can't overdrive this car. I know for a fact if you start overdriving this car, it just doesn't work, and that's one thing. You got to sort of be calm in this car. And at the moment he isn't, and it's not helping him. He will be late on the brakes here. Oh, he's very late, but he's too late. He's losing ground, and Kendall will be all over the back and start to get that spot too.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's got an experienced enough team. He has a really good drive out of Casio to put himself in a pretty good position to attack here. Whether he's going to... Is Dave Baxter backing off? I'd be keeping an eye on this, Mr. Director, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's something happening here. He looks like he's through plenty clean. Is he able to hold it? Yes, he is. That happened pretty easily. That happened really easily. I don't know whether Dave made that easier than what he should have. I don't know because, gee, he had that job done before they entered the turn.
Yeah, that was, I think, a little bit too easy on Baxter, as Baxter is now all over the back of Cooper Murray. This is lightening up, like we said, right towards the end. It's lap 34 of 35. It's just lighting up. Oh, Baxter is all over the back of Cooper Murray and just jumping back up. Just want to put a little bit of a time for everyone. Jones and Coppo, that gap is sort of hovering around 1 second now, and they're not closing up as this battle back here for 6th, 7th and 8th height and livens up.
Yeah, it does. He's got himself in that position, lap and a half to go now. Let's see if he can hold that position now. I honestly think that Dave let him through there. I'm almost sure of it, to be honest with you, because it looked really, really easy. But I don't think there's going to be any love lost here between these guys after the race, as Ethan Grigol enters his last lap.
Yeah, Ethan Grigol, what a showing from Ethan. He's coming through the OSs to start that final lap. He is another dominant display up front. He's driven well, but yeah, just looking back at this battle between Baxter and Cooper, they're very close there. Oh, then from rubbing panels, it's on.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of netcode here, and that's, we've gone off the Australian service, which we've had gratefully for the last 3 weeks. Baxter's going to lose a lot of time here. He's going to actually be under attack from Kendall as that nose just doesn't turn. The understeer just digs in. He gets in the aero wash of the car in front. But I want to spend the next bit of time talking about Ethan Grigol. He is going to win this championship. It will be 4 in a row, and it is very well deserved. And I think Madison won 9, and I don't know how many Hampstead won, and Bo Cubis has won 2. And I'll be honest, I don't really know much more than that. But he has deserved it. And apart from Bathurst on the Monday night races where he didn't get a quality lap in and then got taken out in an accident that he wasn't involved with, I think Nick Hammond at turn 2 lost it, and he just got caught up innocently in that. But I don't think he's been outside the top 3 all season, and that's why he is going to be the Season 1 of 2016 champion. And this is a team that's been severely weakened this season. Like Marty Carroll is not a well person. He does a lot of their setup work. So Ethan's had to fight this the hard way as he exits Casio Triangle for the last time. Ethan Grigol will be your winner of race 11 of the V8 official Supercar series. And congratulations to him probably the most dominant dominant race that he's had probably in the last 3 or 4 seasons.
As he is now just reversing down the front stretch. He's just having a good time. But Coppo and Jones coming through 130R. I think Coppo is going to take P number 2 from Matt Jones, who did an outstanding drive. It could have been second, but it could have been a lot worse if he stayed out any longer. So great drive from these two, Blake Coppo in second and Matt Jones in third.
Well, the winner of the last Bathurst 12-hour race, Blake Coppo, does come second.
King
Matty
out of
Jones
fuel.
third.
King out of fuel.
King is out of fuel.
King, yep. He
should
cruising.
make it. Where's Mitch Sealak?
Mitchell
He should
Sealak's a
make
long
it.
way behind. He's just gonna roll across the line. So he's ran out of fuel. Bit of another fuel strategy gone wrong again.
Yeah, probably didn't. Well, he didn't lose anything there, Mitch Sealak. Good effort by Mitch, and this little battle here has continued all the way to the end. Cooper Murray, Dave Baxter. It is going to stay as is now. Good job by young Cooper. Got his head together there. Probably, hopefully, one of the boys got in his ear and said, "Just calm down, get the position back." He did that. Came 6th, and Wayne Kendall and Dave Baxter. Good job there. I think Dave's spot on though. I don't think there was any contact between them all. I think there was a world full of net code there, and hopefully Cooper can see that and have a chat. Oh, he's already left. Sorry. So it must be bedtime for Cooper, I'm thinking. Jason Bent's pretty lonely, quiet race there in 9th, and Jeremiah Morton, through just sheer patience, has got himself in the top 10. So good job to them. Greg Sharp crossing the line. I think it is there in 11th position.
Yeah, I think that's everyone. I think people out on
Simon
the track.
Tennant.
Simon Tennant.
Yep,
is coming across, and then Daniel Ackland as well, just exiting the Casio triangle now, and he's going to come across the line to round out our field.
No, Chad Vigor is still to come in. He's had a
he will be a lap down, so he would have been finished
lonely
already.
race. Yeah, 1 lap down. Yep, you're right. So a long race. It's some good battles in there throughout, no doubt. But wow, it's Ethan Grigg Golf show. It really is.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we'll run through the results, Mr. Hugo. So Ethan Grigg Golf showing why this is his 4th championship in a row. It's another dominant performance. 38 seconds at the line over Blake Coppo in seconds. That's just a great drive as well from Coppo, and Matt Jones in 3rd. That's a great job from Matt Jones. He drove an awesome race to get that one done. Brendan King in 4th, Mitchell Sealak, very lonely, but from 19th on the grid to finish 5th, I think he'll be somewhat happy with that. Cooper Murray 6th with Baxter and Kendall just behind him in 7th and 8th. Bent's in 9th. Morton rounding out the 10. Then just outside was Greg Sharp with a lot of damage in 11th. Simon Tennant in 12th. Daniel Ackland in 13th, rounding out the guys finishing on the lead lap. Then we got Chad Vigar, Mario Vlasic all 1 lap down. Mark Fee in 16th. Ryan Sullivan with the mechanical issue in 17th. Sean Chappell getting caught up in some damage also at the start in 18th. And Ian Ford hitting the wall coming out of Spoon in 19th. Daniel Trim in 20th, David A. Moore in 21st, and Ross Rizzo didn't actually make the grid in 22nd.
Hell, that was a long race, and losing cars early certainly makes it very difficult at times. But we're not going to be hanging around too long tonight, Mr. Director and Jake. It's getting on in time, and that was a long race. Like I said, this week, busy week. You got the SDRT Friday night. You got the OSR Wednesday night race, let's not forget that, and Simon Black and the boys there do a great job. And then tomorrow night again with the Angry Birds race, but I reckon we might call it a show there tonight nice and early and move on.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one, Mr. Brenton. It was good to see Ethan doing his normal things again today, and it'll be interesting to see next week Montreal who's going to turn up for that one. It'll be one of those races that'll easily run out the championship.
Yeah, it will be. Well, now we've got Blake Coppo upstairs, and I feel. I'll see if Matty Jones shows up. I'm not sure. Like, if Matty Jones shows up, we'll do an interview because I'm keen to have a chat with Matty. So, Matty, we'll give you a little bit of time to show up. But just quickly before we go have a look, I think we might. No, he's not here. We're going to call it a night. It's been a long race, no doubt. And we will be on our way to... Where are we off to next week? Montreal again. so what will be the last round, and really it's going to be a lot of laps of honours for Ethan Grigalt next week, as he will be the winner of what is the official V8 Supercar Championship. So until next week, Hugo, you might want to see us out nice and quickly here tonight, mate. Apologies for not doing any interviews tonight. Maddie, if you come on next week, make sure we have a chat with you. But yeah, we'll keep moving on this, and yeah, we'll see you next week. So Hugo, play that funky music, because this has been round 11 of the official V8 Supercar Championship. A long race, no doubt. Ethan Grigalt, a very deserving winner. Long result back to second place, where Blake Copper and Matty Jones were both able to get their maiden podiums in the Monday night races. So congratulations to them. But mate, in the meantime, Jake, it's Brett and O'Brien. Thanks again to Hugo Luis and the director chair, Jake Blackwell. As usual, great job there in the chair as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you for what will be the last round of Season 1 2016 of the official V8 Supercar Championship, brought to you by iRacing and RaceSpot TV.